So Kaplan Business School, we are in Australia. We're just in Australia and we have 4 locations. So let me first tell you a bit about who Kaplan Business School are. So who are Kaplan Business School? Well, Kaplan Business School are part of, or KBS for short, which is our nickname. We are part of the global Kaplan Education Network. Now, you may not have heard of Kaplan Business School before, but chances are you may have heard of Kaplan. Kaplan around the world has 1 million students studying across their educational providers each year. Kaplan are in 400 locations across 30 countries. So really are a truly global education provider. So one with a reputation around the world, a really established education provider, meaning you can feel confident that when enrolling or applying to study with Kaplan Business School, you are applying to study with a reputable, well-established provider. Kaplan Business School are a registered education provider in Australia and a higher education provider. That means our degrees are fully accredited through the Australian accreditation body, who are called TEQSA, that is the Tertiary Education Qualities Standard Agency. So they are the body who accredit all universities and all higher education providers like Kaplan Business School. So even though Kaplan Business School does not have the university title, we are still fully accredited and globally recognized like a degree from any Australian university would be. The programs that we have available are in business and accounting at undergraduate and postgraduate level. We have 4 schools in Australia with over 3,000 international students currently enrolled across those 4 locations. But why choose Australia? I know some of you will be thinking between maybe Australia, maybe the UK, Canada, the USA, all great study destinations, but why should you choose Australia? Well, in Australia, one of the perks of studying a master or bachelor degree is that as long as you study for at least 2 years, upon graduation, you can apply for a 2-year post-study work visa. That gives you the opportunity to stay in Australia for an extra 2 years, work full-time, gain some valuable work experience, progress in your career, and also earn some Australian dollars. That is quite unique. There's not too many countries who offer that. I know in the US it's very restricted. In the UK it's restricted as well. So it is a great reason to choose to study your higher education degree in Australia. So for example, our MBA is 2 years, but you would actually get to stay in the country for 4 years if you include the post-study work visa on top of the 2 years of study. In Australia, we have 5 out of the top 30 best student cities in the world. So they will be Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, and Perth. Australia is the 3rd most popular international student destination in the world after the UK and the USA. Catching up with the UK, in fact, so we're not far off. Australia as a country, as a society, has over 200 cultures and 47% of the population were born outside of Australia. That means it is a really diverse and multicultural society, and as a result, it is very welcoming to international students. There are some, I believe it is about 600,000 international students currently studying in Australia. So if you do choose to come to Australia and study, you'll be one of those many different nationalities studying across the country. Australia as an economy has been very strong, continuous growth over the last 20 years, meaning low unemployment, wages are very good, opportunities are available for employment, potential opportunities to stay long term after your studies as well. Where the rest of the world was affected by the global financial crisis, Australia managed to ride that out and see it through, and continues to grow economically, as well as within the population. Every year the population expands by some 100,000 people or so. So it is a country with good economic growth as well as population growth, and embracing and welcoming people from other nationalities and backgrounds. And Australia's ranks, or cities in Australia consistently rank in the world's most livable cities. Melbourne has been in the top two for, I believe it's the last 5 years or so. But if it's Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, wherever you may choose to study, you can be assured that you'll have a good quality of living. So our locations in Australia. So we have 4 locations. Brisbane being the capital of Queensland, a very warm city, a very convenient city, a very welcoming city for international students. Sydney being the most popular study destination for international students in Australia. Melbourne being the second most popular city, and then Adelaide being one of the most affordable cities to go and study in Australia. One of the great reasons, one of the great things about us having 4 different locations within Australia is that it gives our students the opportunity to change location between their trimester breaks. So maybe you start in Brisbane and you think, actually, I need slightly bigger city, a slightly more bustling city, or if you find more work opportunity in Sydney or Melbourne, you're welcome to change between trimesters at no additional cost. Very flexible. All of our locations run the same courses at the same costs with the same start dates, so everything is run very simultaneously, giving you the option to transfer between locations if you so wish. So a little bit about the cities. Adelaide, 5th most livable city in the world. It's the cheapest mainland city in Australia. Lots of festivals in Adelaide. And Adelaide actually offers a regional migration policy, giving students an extra 5 points when they apply for their skilled migration, which our other locations do not offer. Basically, in Adelaide and South Australia, they want to increase the population of skilled workers, which is why they are trying to attract more people to that city by giving them an extra 5 points through the skilled migration scheme. Brisbane, very sunny city, very warm, probably the best climate out of the 4 locations, subtropical, on the river, and offers a more of a affordable cost of living compared to Sydney and Melbourne. It's Australia's fastest growing capital, fastest growing capital city for employment opportunities. And an example of affordability is that there are free ferries around the city and other free forms of public transport. Melbourne, most livable city in the world. Like I mentioned, it constantly ranks up there in the top 1 and 2. 3rd best city in the world for students, and it hosts some of the world's best sporting venues. Sydney, I'm sure many of you recognise that picture. Sydney is often made famous for its harbour bridge, its opera house, and its beachside living alongside the city. I am based in Sydney. That's where I am delivering this webinar from, and it truly is a great city, offering a great balance of working, of lifestyle, mixing that coastal, that beach lifestyle with the city lifestyle as well. It is quite a unique city, and that is one of the reasons why it is so popular with students, with travellers, with migrants alike. So I'm just going to play you a quick video. This is a video done by our academic dean, James Antonopoulos, and this is a brief explainer about our MBA.
The Kaplan Business School MBA is flexible for 3 reasons. First, there's a wide variety of electives to choose from. Second, students can swap from one specialization to another. And third, you're able to combine face-to-face study with online study. Whilst a general option is, of course, available in the KBS MBA, so too are 7 specializations that enable students to craft the program that meets their interests and their career aspirations. In the Kaplan Business School MBA, there are only workshops, no lectures and no tutorial. This means that rather than having academics talking non-stop, our MBA instead comprises workshops that are full of activities, discussions, case studies, games, and interactive experiences. Much like on-campus students, our online students too can attend a weekly online workshop held live that replicates the discussions and activities that occur in the face-to-face version. These workshops are recorded and posted on the online portal where they can be accessed not only by those studying online, but also by those involved on campus.
Okay, I'm glad. I hope you enjoyed that short video about our MBA. That's from our academic dean, like I said. But I'll continue now to talk a bit more about the MBA and the other programs we offer here at Kaplan Business School Australia. So the MBA is a 2-year degree. Okay, so I know in the UK and some other destinations it is 1 year. In Australia, the accreditation body deems master's degrees should be 2, and subsequently that is why our MBA is 2 years. However, the MBA is just 12 subjects. So across those 2 years, you study 12 subjects. And we have a trimester-based system. So that means you have 3 terms each year, and subsequently you will study 2 subjects in each term, or trimester as we refer to them to. By the degree being 2 years in length as well, that means you will be eligible to apply for the post-study work visa after graduation. And actually in the classroom face-to-face time, you would only do about 6 hours per week. So 3 hours per week per subject, giving you plenty of time to work on the side, as in Australia you're allowed to work for 20 hours per week on the student visa, but also to continue to do your assignments, do your work, so you're successful in passing your assessments and subsequently passing your subjects to continue and progress as you would wish. We have a general MBA, but we also have specializations, and specializations are quite unique to Kaplan Business School, and especially the number of specializations we had. It was mentioned briefly in that video, but I will talk to you a bit more about it now. We do have a general MBA, which has no specializations, but more often than not, students choose one of our specializations because it gives them that sought-after MBA qualification, but also has a focus on what their career aspirations may be, what their goals are for after the MBA. So if you look here, you can see our different specializations. Women in Leadership, which was released this trimester, which is basically a diversity specialization, looking at influencing diversity within the workplace, empowering women, but also offering more opportunities for different genders, different races, whatever it may be within the workplace. Project management, one of our most popular specializations. We get a lot of engineers going onto that, so they know the business side of engineering, as well as to be able to focus on a project management side of things. So they can drive projects within their jobs. Entrepreneurship, students who are looking to start their own business, create a startup, or sort out money investments from venture capitalists to start up a business, or become a business coach and how to help people start their own businesses. International leadership, and I think the name really sort of explains itself, teaching people leadership skills on a global scale. Health services management, this is very popular with the aging population in many countries, with people having to go back to work earlier, with more private healthcare clinics opening up, cosmetic surgery clinics opening up, places like that. Health services management teaches people how to run those clinics, how to manage them, how to administer them. It's not teaching you how to be a doctor or a nurse. It's teaching you how to run a department within a hospital or run an aged care centre efficiently and effectively. So it is profitable, but also continues to operate in a sustainable way. Digital management. This teaches students how to handle big data, analyze data, implement strategies within businesses to use the data they have to be most effective in growing the business and setting out plans for the business of what direction they would like to go in the future. And last but not least, tourism and hospitality leadership. This was new this year. It was launched in our March intake and really takes people within the tourism and hospitality industry to the next level of qualification. That means they're not just managers, they're leading maybe a hotel, they're leading a tour operator, they are leading a travel agent, something like that. So these are the people who will be in charge of these tourism and hospitality businesses. And that is a very unique specialization to Kaplan Business School. We can only, when we launched that specialization, we only found one institute in Australia doing something similar. All other institutes would have a master in tourism or a master in hospitality. None that would combine that sought after master of business administration with the specialization, with a focus in tourism and hospitality leadership. And the way it basically works within the degree, there are those 12 subjects, like I mentioned, and then you would have 3 of those subjects would be focused on the specialization. So 9 subjects are around the general MBA, and 3 subjects focus on the specialization of your choice. A brief bit about the other degrees we offer. So at undergraduate level, we have a Bachelor of Business, then a Bachelor of Business in Accounting, Finance, Hospitality and Tourism Management, Management and Marketing. And then at postgraduate level, we also have a Master of Professional Accounting, a Master of Accounting, and a Graduate Certificate in Accounting. Just in case you're looking for any other areas to focus, maybe you need to do your undergrad, or you're looking at maybe more of an accounting focused degree, we can meet those requirements for you. All of our accounting courses are accredited by CPA Australia, CA Australia, and ACCA. So as part of the MBA, as part of those 12 subjects that are run over the course of the 2-year degree, one of the subjects you can choose to be an academic internship. So that basically means you gain real-world experience and confidence throughout workplace responsibility. You improve transferable skills such as communication, teamwork, time management. You get experience in practical application. You get the chance to impress prospective employers while enhancing employability. And in fact, 1 in 2 students who do an academic internship within the MBA get ongoing employment with the with the internship company. So yeah, that's a real bonus for students who get the chance to gain some experience through the internship and continue to gain experience after that through ongoing paid employment. So the actual internship itself is unpaid, as it's one of our subjects, but if you get ongoing employment, that will subsequently be paid employment. The academic internships are you are assisted and supported through our Careers Central department. So they are there to make sure that you are supported in finding the most suitable academic internship for your needs. They can also offer unpaid work placement on top of your degree, again, to get you some work experience in a relevant field or sector of interest to you. But they also give you ongoing career support for after you have graduated. So when you may no longer be a Kaplan Business School student, you have graduated, you have received your degree, If you have that post-study work visa, but you're struggling to find employment in a field that is of interest to you, you can come back into the school, sit with our careers advisor, and they will assist you in finding a job, a position, which is going to benefit you in the long run. As well as the academic internship and work placement and career support, there are many workshops offered within the careers department. They give you careers guidance. You know, you can sit down them and say, I'm doing my MBA, but I'm really not sure what specialization to do. I'm not sure what direction to take my career. They can help you with that. They will help with your writing your resume to meet the Australian desired requirements, help you prepare cover letters, help you do your professional social media profiles, i.e. LinkedIn, give you interview preparations, networking techniques, and like I said, internship and work placements. So the workshops are really great because they offer students every week the opportunity to come in, sit in, find out something about applying for a job in Australia, writing a resume, whatever it may be. So we have that workshop environment for career support, but we also have one-on-one career support as and when students need it. Now, within the MBA and our other degrees, as mentioned in that video prior, we call them workshops, okay? So they're very interactive classes. They're classes which have an average of 25 students. There are classes where the lecturer or facilitator, as we call them, will not speak for more than 15 to 20 minutes at a time before engaging the class in some sort of conversation or dialogue. That really teaches more practical learning outcomes, which are useful for employment, compared to just sitting in a lecture theatre with hundreds of students listening to someone talking about the theory of business with you. This gives you a chance to ask questions, to disagree with what the facilitator is saying, to use your past experiences to put your opinions across. It really does make the actual the classes very dynamic and bear with me 1 second. Very dynamic and very interactive, and it's a great style of learning for international students in particular who need that interaction and that support. If you are struggling at all, though, with any of the assignment works we have, so we do not have any exams within the MBA. It is all assessment work. So it could be an individual assignment. It could be a presentation. It could be group work and also class participation. There are many different assessments within each subject, but none of them will be exams, okay? So that, again, teaches you real-world skills. However, if you're struggling with any aspects of what is being taught in the class, or how to do your assignments, how your assignment should be structured, how your assignment should be turned in, how it should be submitted, we have an academic success centre, which again, like the careers department, offers workshops in academic skills, but also gives you one-to-one academic support as and when needed. You can make an appointment with the Academic Success Centre coordinator, and they will be there to sit down with you and guide you through and support you and assist you through any areas that you're finding challenging. We have an over 85% pass rate through our subjects within our MBA, and a lot of that is down to the academic support students have available to them outside of the classroom. You can see a bit more here about the Academic Success Centre. So some of the challenges students may find: academic skills and assessment requirements, studying English, or being active and communicating in the classroom. We provide workshops on time management, academic reading research, the Harvard referencing system, which is the referencing system we use for our assignments, paraphrasing and summarizing, essay and report writing techniques, exam revision techniques, but also how to use the software to, like I mentioned before, submit your assignments and make sure you are not getting accused of plagiarism because you haven't referenced certain work or certain text that you've got from somewhere else. So again, the Academic Success Centre is really supportive for your academic success, just like the Careers Central Department is really supportive for your careers success. Again, a little bit more about the one-on-one support. You can see it there, brainstorming ideas, planning your answers, organising paragraphs and structure, formatting and proofing, and the Harvard referencing system. So that really just sort of goes over what I mentioned prior. If for some reason you're struggling on the language perspective, again, we can help with academic English, so you get more familiar with the terminology used within an assignment or needed to go within an assignment. So stepping away from the actual degree itself, let's talk about nationality mixes. So we are an international school. We do not have a huge cohort of Australian students, which is why we're so geared to support our students, because like I mentioned, they're coming from different backgrounds. You can see the top 15 nationalities there we have. So India being at about, let's say, 20%. Followed by Vietnam, China, Nepal, Brazil, Pakistan, Philippines, Australia, etc., etc. So compared to a university in Australia, where you'll have probably predominantly the international students will be Indian and they will be Chinese, we break down our nationality mix on a much better basis, and particularly so within our MBA. The MBA, like I said before, has 60% of our student cohort. And lots of students come over to Australia, be it on a visitor visa, maybe to come over and study some English or a diploma. They already have an undergraduate degree from their home country, but they decide to stay in Australia, get their MBA, get their master's degree, take advantage of that postgraduate opportunity, work opportunity. And I will talk about our fee structure in a moment, but universities are a lot more expensive than Kaplan Business School. They have huge faculties, huge campuses that they need to maintain, whereas we are all centrally located. Our schools are centrally located across the 4 cities that we operate in. But we're a business school, so we'll have a floor or multiple floors in a building. We'll have a resources centre, so like a library. We'll have a computer lab. We'll have a breakout room or a common area for the students. And then we have our classrooms. So the cost of our operations in terms of facilities is a fraction of what a university charges. So we can reduce our costs, and subsequently we're more of an affordable option for international students who are more price conscious. Again, universities do very well with Chinese students because Chinese students tend to have a lot of money, so price is not an object, it's not a question to them. But we're a lot more affordable, but still offering very high quality degrees with that additional student support like I previously mentioned. So on to our intake dates. We have trimesters, so that's 3 intakes per year. One in March, which we call trimester 1, one in July, which we've just had, trimester 2, and one in November, which is trimester 3, giving students flexibility of when they can start and moving away from the traditional 1 or 2 intakes per year. So for any of you guys who want to submit an application to start with Kaplan Business School in November, you would want to get that application in now, because you're looking at probably 4 months or 5 months possibly lead up time for the visa process. So either November or March next year would be most suitable for you. All of the courses have to run each trimester in all locations, so again, making it more flexible. So on to fees. So I've got all of our courses here, but if we look at the bottom in particular, you can see our MBA, and you can see the international fee on the right-hand side of $43,500. Now, that is for the full degree. That is for the 2 years of study. So you will graduate with your degree for $43,500. A university MBA is probably going to cost closer to 70 or 80,000 Australian dollars. So like I said, we offer much more affordable degrees, but still at a very high standard and offering a whole world of support for you to be successful with your qualification. You can see the subject fee just to the left-hand side of that of $3,625. And when you study with Kaplan Business School, you pay per trimester at a time. So that means you pay 2 subjects each trimester, and as a result, that would be $7,250 every 4 months. So that $43,500 is not a one-off payment. You pay as you go, essentially. However, for your visa, you will be required to show you have enough tuition fees for your first year of study. Not just, we don't stop there with having more affordable degrees. We also have regional academic scholarships available, the scholarship program for our students from the African continent. And this scholarship is based on students having prior academic studies with an average grade of 65%. So if you're coming onto the MBA and you've done your undergraduate bachelor degree, we will look at your bachelor degree, we will look at your grades. If you have received 65% or above, you will be eligible for a 10% scholarship, bringing that price of $43,500 down to $39,150. So that gives you a bit more of a reduction and makes it slightly more affordable over the course of the 2 years. Okay, on to the next. So this is a short video. You've heard me talk great things, I hope, about Kaplan Business School. This video focuses on students at our graduation ceremony from last year and has them talking about their experiences with Kaplan Business School. So I will start this. The video has disappeared. Give me 1 second because I definitely want to show this to you. Bear with me. It should have been embedded. So I'm just going to bring it up now. Here we go. Here, right, here we go. 1 second still, just lining up for you. Apologies for not being embedded in the presentation. I'm going to share my screen here.
Welcome to Kaplan Business School graduation ceremony. We have over 400 graduates across our campuses in Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide and Melbourne. We're extremely proud of each and every one of them. So let's see what they're all up to and meet some of their family and friends. How has life been since you finished at KBS?
Got straight away a job at Arco Felsers. They do auditing, business services, and financial planning.
I feel like I'm industry ready to find a marketing job for myself. I started to work in accounting.
So I'm working as operations manager for Hair Sorted.
Looking back, what would you say was your best part of your experience at KBS?
The staff, so helpful and friendly.
Staff? Yeah, it was amazing.
Getting this real nice relationship with very inspiring teachers.
The admin, the desk, the librarian, everyone is like super friendly and always there to help you.
And everything is very flexible with students, even the time frame of the assessments and the mark criteria and everything. And what would you say is your dream role that you're working towards, say in 5, 10 years?
I want to be a CEO, do consulting services, business services.
I would love to open my own business, tourism related, and this is something that I'm going to look forward to in the short term, like probably in the next 3 or 4 years.
I'd like to work in finance, somewhere in business analysis or something like that, and later on like to open up my own business.
Just very proud of Alex today after such a massive amount of effort. It's wonderful.
We've been waiting for this day for like quite a long time, and I'm really happy we made it.
Wonderful. So I hope you could all see that. I'm just going to bring it back to my PowerPoint slides very quickly. There we are. Share and. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you found that informative. I know there was a lot to go through, and you may have a lot of questions. Feel free to ask questions within the chat. I'm just going to bring that up, the little chat room up myself. You should be able to see a chat option. I'm going to write hello in it now so you can see it pop up. So please feel free to ask any questions through there. And my colleague from IE Abroad, who kindly organised this webinar for me to deliver to you, she will also assist me with answering any questions you have. So feel free to go in that Zoom group chat and ask me any questions. And Vuyi, I'm just going to unmute you. So, there we are. One question I've been asked by a listener is there a Master of Leadership degree? No. So what we do have, we have the Master of Business Administration, the MBA, and we have a specialization in international leadership. So that will teach you the skills you need to be able to run a business, to be able to operate a business, to be able to seek opportunities to create a successful business, but also give you those international leadership skills you would need through to be able to run a business at that high level. So we have international leadership, and we also have the tourism and hospitality leadership specialization. So even though it's not just a specific master in leadership, our MBA with the specializations opens up a lot more opportunities for you to have that business perspective, but also the leadership perspective as well. So Vuyi, I'm just going to unmute you. There you go.
Hi, Patrick.
Hello.
That was actually to ask that question that I've been asked by a listener on my side.
Okay.
The other question that I received was, what is the likelihood of a Zimbabwean actually obtaining the Australian study visa?
That is a very hard question to answer. We don't really have too many Zimbabweans applying to study with us, unfortunately, at the moment. Hopefully that will change. But it comes down to Australian immigration. They will assess students' profiles. They will look at their prior studies. They will look at their prior work experience. They will look at maybe to see what assets a student has within their home country, in Zimbabwe in this case. And from there, they will look to make a decision as to whether they believe the student is coming to Australia for study reasons, to gain their qualification, and then go back to their home country after they have that qualification or after their post-study work visa, and essentially use that qualification for back at home, back in their home country. That is basically what they determine as a genuine temporary entrant, or a GTE profile. So it depends on the individual, and it is ultimately the Department of Home Affairs, which Australian immigration fits under. It is ultimately their decision, their choice, whether they want to grant a Zimbabwean student a visa, a South African student, a Kenyan student, a German student, wherever you are in the world. They do assess students generally the same way, but from certain backgrounds, depending on what the economy is like in a country, depending on what the political climate is like in a country, they will take a number of factors into play to see whether they believe the student to meet the genuine temporary entrant criteria. They will also look at financial, whether the student has the financial support to last them through their degree and their time in Australia, so their tuition, but also their living expenses. And they will also want to see a student is proficient in English to be able to study at a higher education level within Australia. So it's not far from impossible, but it does come down to the student's profile. And from Zimbabwe, it will need to be a strong profile. We would do our due diligence on the students as well. We'll look at the student's profile to see whether it is worth them applying for their visa, whether we're confident they will get their visa. If we are, then we will accept the application, students get their visa documentation, and then apply for their visa. If we are not confident they will get a visa, then we'll say thank you for your application, but unfortunately it was not successful at this time.
Okay, you've just received another question here on chat. Are there any scholarship opportunities or other financing options available? I know you briefly spoke about that, but maybe we could go over that slide again.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't have full scholarships. We are a private higher education provider, so students do need to pay to study with us. However, the cost of the degree, the MBA, for example, over 2 years is $43,500, and the scholarship available for students with prior academic studies are graded at 65%. They can get a 10% discount on those tuition fees, bring it down to just under $40,000. So no full scholarships, I'm afraid, no 50% scholarships. But if you look at an MBA at Kaplan Business School compared to an MBA at Macquarie University here in Australia, we are about half the price. So it's similar to having a 50% scholarship if you look at the price that most universities charge.
Yeah. I don't know if you can read that comment. Yeah. It says, I already have a bachelor's degree with Zimbabwe University. Is there any need for accreditation?
So what entry requirements for the MBA is basically an undergraduate degree, which is the equivalent to an Australian undergraduate degree, or an Australian bachelor degree. So again, what we'll do, we'll look at students' certificate and academic transcripts, and we will look to see where they studied their degree. And we have this thing called the country education profiles, and we can look to match the level of a degree. So if in Zimbabwe someone has a degree from a university there, as long as it's recognized and as long as it's deemed to have the same level of study as an Australian bachelor degree, then that is enough to meet our entry requirements.
Okay, awesome.
Again, like with the GT assessment, we look at so the visa assessment. We obviously assess students' suitability for our degree programs.
Right. Another offline question, although I didn't see this listed. A participant is asking if there is a postgraduate or master's degree in religious studies, which I don't think there would be because obviously you are a business school.
Exactly, yes. So our degrees are focused around business and accounting primarily.
Right.
But next year we are launching a degree in business analytics. So that will be our latest master degree. And when the time is ready, we'll have more information on our website about that degree.
Okay. Okay, those are all the questions from my side. I don't know if anyone else has another question. I think Jay again has asked, how long does the application process take?
Yeah, so from our perspective, with as long as we get a complete application with supporting documents in, and everything is in order, we can assess the application, we can assess the student for their visa requirements, all within the space of 2 to 3 weeks. Then the offer letter will be released, and then once payment is made and the visa documentation is issued by us, it can take, I would give at least 3 months for the visa process to be conducted by the Department of Home Affairs. So altogether, realistically, 4 to 5 months in advance would be a good amount of time. So the application fee for the MBA, well, I mean, we have an enrollment fee of $280. The actual fee to pay for your first trimester will be around $7,000. So it's $7,000 every trimester, every term, Australian dollars, that is. And but for your visa requirements, you will need to show the first year of tuition fees available. So you have the first year of tuition fees accessible to you when you are, or you can demonstrate they're accessible to you when you apply for your visa. Okay. Okay, for you. I think that may be it.
I think so. If we do have any other questions, because we had a lot of sign-ups that people were struggling to connect to the app. If we do have any other questions, I'm just going to shoot them to you, and then you can take it from there.
Please do, and I have recorded this webinar, so we'll be able to send that to you, Vuyi, and then you can follow up with participants or people who are unable to participate. They can watch the video, and you can give them my email address as well, and I can ask and answer any questions they have, or I'm sure you can support them with that as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Patrick.
My pleasure. Lovely talking to you all. I hope you found that presentation informative, and all the best, and hopefully we'll get to see you in Australia one day.
Yes, soon. All right. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
We'll be in touch soon.
Have a great day.
Bye.